This is intimacy with loved ones. So, when we're talking about intimacy, again, we're just talking about developing closeness. All right. So, intimacy with your loved ones could include your mom, your dad, your child, your sister, your brother, your best friends. That's what I'm talking about. Intimacy with loved ones. You know that we have so many important relationships in our lives. It is not just about our partner, and it's not just about creating an intimate setting with yourself. Some of the most important relationships in our lives, in fact, have nothing to do with anything sexual, anything interpersonal, but the people who are like right around us, who surround us every day. They are extremely important to us, and I think we want them to know that. Sometimes we may feel a little bit distant from them, and so it would be good to know how we could develop intimacy with the people that we love. And when I say intimacy, again, I just mean closeness, like deep friendship, deep love and care. Okay? When it comes to creating intimacy with your loved ones, it is similar to connecting with those who are outside. So we just discussed connecting with others in social settings. And so there are some similarities. But of course, these are people that you see every day. So you already know their faces, you already know who they are. And in fact, creating intimacy with them might actually become more difficult than creating intimacy with strangers because we've gotten so familiar and so used to them that we take them for granted. For example, one of the first general rules that I would like to bring across is always maintaining eye contact with those you love. This is something that we often take for granted because we know what our mother's face looks like. We know what our child's face looks like. We see them all the time. And with busy lives, we often say, okay, well, if they're speaking to us, we might be on the phone and respond. So we might be texting, da 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 da. Yeah, sure, no problem. Or we might be watching TV and having a conversation. We might be chopping up onions and having a conversation. What I want to challenge you to do is to truly take the time to connect with your loved ones by looking them deeply into their eyes. Whenever they're speaking, turn around, look them in their faces, and look into their eyes. This lets them know that they are seen, that they are heard, that they are important to you, and that what they have to say is of grave significance. So you are paying attention. This goes a long, long way. And during these exercises or like the examples that I will give, I will be using my relationship with my son because he is one of the most important relationships to me, one of the most important people in my entire life. As you could imagine, he is 4 years old, and even at 4, he is brilliant. Okay, he understands everything that's happening around him, and he knows if mommy is not paying attention. So one of the things that we tend to do is children will say, mommy, mommy, look at this, mommy, look at me, Blake, look at me run, look at me jump, look at me do this specific thing. And they always do it when you're like super busy, like you're in the middle of cutting up chicken or something, like, merging onto the freeway. It is a little bit stressful sometimes, but what's important for you to realize is that they're asking for your attention because they love you, they're interested in getting to know you and for you to get to know them, and they want to connect with you. So what children do in those moments, what they're actually asking for is connection. They may ask, I want you to play with me. I want you to play cards with me. I want you to look at me roll over on the grass. They don't really think like, oh, well, mommy is too busy right now with something super important. What they're thinking is, I want to connect with my mother or my father. This is the way that I'm going to do it. And so if you are able to actually sit and watch them, then that's great. But what I want to talk about is if you're not able to, because I'm talking about eye contact. What you would do is look them in their eyes and say, oh, I hear you. I really see that you want mommy to watch you do that. I think it's really important, and I can't wait to see it. However, mommy is cooking right now. So you name the important task that you're doing. Mommy is driving right now. Mommy is doing this like life-saving, world-changing thing. I would love for you to give me 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, mommy would be free and able to watch you do exactly what you need to do. You're looking them in their eyes. And then for bonus points, you can actually set the timer. So 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, give it an actual time, give it an actual end goal so that they understand that their request was heard, their request was important to you, and you plan to honor that request and have that connection in a time that's more reasonable for you. But connection, just even looking in the eyes, makes all the difference. It goes a long way. And I guarantee you, just doing that alone can help you save a lot of time just with the tantrums that will not be thrown. Because when children don't feel heard, don't feel seen, don't feel like their requests are being taken seriously, they tend to act out so that you will pay attention to them. Because at all costs, they will be paid attention to. And that's fine, that's their job. So, what we have a responsibility to do is to help connect with them in the small ways so that they can understand we want to connect with them in the big ways. So, when they feel connected to us, they can regulate their emotions a little bit better as well. That's great, right? Yeah. Guiding principle number 2 with connecting with your loved ones, having intimacy with your loved ones, involves tone of voice. Now, this may be really simple, okay? But a lot of us take it for granted that we have our loved ones that will forgive us always, will always be there. And so it doesn't matter the way that we speak to them, it doesn't matter what we say, it doesn't matter. If you are out in public, for example, and someone were to say something to you that was hurtful or rude, your response might be different to them than it would be to someone at home. If you are trying to relay some information or convey some thought process, the way that you speak to someone that is like your neighbor or a child that's not yours, a child that you see on the road, you may be like, hey, how are you? You are very concerned, you are very interested, you are very soft and caring. That is somebody who you do not even know. That is somebody that you may never know again, you may never meet again. They do not matter to you in that moment, right? Or in the grand scheme of things, they may not really matter to you. But yet, the person that you are at home with every single day, the people who you love so dearly and whose relationships matter most in the world, we have a tendency to allow ourselves to get angry, to allow ourselves to get mean, to allow ourselves to get sharp and, you know, a little bit acerbic with the people that we love. Because it's easy, because it's comfortable, because we can do it and get away with it. But the truth is we're not getting away with it. Every single time we say something that is harsh, that is mean, that is cruel, it stabs at that relationship. It cuts that relationship and it changes it just a little bit. Might not be a huge turn, but it's a little. It breaks trust a little bit. If we want to maintain closeness, if we want to build trust that this person loves me, that this person cares for me, that this person is interested in me, we must monitor and understand the tone in which we speak to our loved ones. And in fact, if it is possible at all, that we develop the understanding that we must speak to our loved ones with the most gentle tone, with the most loving tone, with the most compassionate tone, I guarantee you we can turn those relationships around. It is a very large difference between saying something hurtful to someone on the road who has wronged you, who you will never see again, whom you will never see again. When you say something hurtful to your child, that may be etched in their memories forever. And of course, we're not perfect and we make mistakes. So then apologize for them. But the way that in which we speak, the way in which we communicate to the people that we love, sets the tone for the rest of the relationship. People may not always remember the things that you do, good or bad. They may not always remember the things that you say. Like, you may say that you love them, you may say that you care, but how people will always remember is how you made them feel. So if every single day your loved ones do not feel that love in the way that you speak to them, in the way that you approach them, they will not believe what it is that you have to say on multiple levels. And this is like a great thing for husband and wives to note as well, because there is usually an issue where the wives tend to be a little bit harsh with their husbands after a while, get annoyed. I'm not picking at anybody, but it is something that us ladies have to be very careful to monitor, because when we're like, intimacy with that person is extremely important. That relationship is extremely important. And sometimes we don't realize how seriously our tone is taken, how seriously the things that we say impact our partner or children or brothers or sisters. Like, these are so important. So watching our tongue and the things that we say are just as important as watching the tone that we say it in, the way we approach our loved ones. I guarantee if you make a concerted effort to speak with a gentle, loving tone to the people that you love, you will begin to see a shift in that relationship, a shift in that intimacy come, and it will be for the better. That's number 2.